Talking about resources brings us to the subject, which I think has been a bit of a weakness with your administration and perhaps with you yourself, and that is climate change. What on earth took you so long to realise that something nasty was happening in the relationship between human beings and the ecosystem? Were you asleep? Were you on drugs? What was going on, John?
Well, I realise that this is a paradigm that I was not brought up with. I mean, it is something that I've had to learn. Yeah. And I never stop learning about these things. I mean, every day I'm learning about these things.
But it took you a long time.
The only growth that I know about is economic growth, and all problems will be solved by the ingenuity of people in an economy allowed to grow.
But Prime Minister, it is growth that caused the emissions which has impacted on the environment.
Well, listen, I'm a bit of a sceptic on that, Richard. I've always been a sceptic on that.
On climate change?
It is not a... No, well, listen, climates go up and climates go down.
If you're really honest about that, we now have a world in crisis, so that's incentive enough for people... What
is this crisis? I mean, you people say that the world is in crisis. So you've been saying that it's about to end for 40 years.
Well,
I mean, I think that the worst has been and the best is yet to come. I mean, all this doom and gloom stuff, Richard, come on, mate.
Well, so you don't think the glaciers are melting? You don't think the coral is bleaching? You don't think the species are disappearing?
Well, all sorts of other things are happening as well at the same time.
But you don't think...
I mean, well, we survive and we evolve. And never not growth, Richard. Never not growth. Growth is the most important thing that we have.
If growth continues, there will be nothing left of the planet we inhabit. There has to be a point at which growth stops.
This is that old-fashioned paradigm that there is an end to the road. But the earth is round and people continue to invent and progress and better themselves. I really believe that.
Tell me about your feelings towards Al Gore, who came out here, showed a PowerPoint, he's got the Nobel Prize. He has aroused a lot of interest in the subject of climate change.
Well, well, I mean...
And your ministry was very sceptical about Al Gore, and he's got a Nobel Prize.
Well, look, a lot of those facts were wrong.
About 3 mistakes, I think, in the PowerPoint.
A lot of those facts were wrong. And he has repudiated them, and you know, I understand all the challenge, and you would have liked to see him as the leader of the free world, and we would have all have just ground to a halt our economic sort of development. I mean, what if this guy was the president of the free world at this time? I mean, what do you think the world would be like?
Well, it would be much more carbon neutral.
It would be exactly the same.
It would be much more...
He is beholden to as many people as you and I are. I mean, he is making a living as a filmmaker peddling a sort of agenda, and...
Who are you beholden to?
Well, I am a facilitator of a lot of points of view. That is all.
Are you beholden to the coal industry?
The coal industry, well, there are a lot of industries who have to sit down and negotiate. I mean, they are democratic institutions.
But don't you think that...
I listen to their point of view, of course I do.
But doesn't that corrupt democracy when big business has all this wealth that it can pour into your coffers?
Well, we've been through that. No, well, listen, what I will say is, to quote Winston Churchill, you know, democracy is the worst possible system apart from any alternative. So I've tried my best to create a plutocracy, whereby the wealthy people come and speak to me and I see what I can do.